Hi guys and welcome. These are your handover videos for your Coachman Pastiche 460. These are essentially a basic walkthrough on how to set up and operate the caravan as if you were getting on or off site. So starting off first, we have your black hitch head here with black lever. Now what you have to do is have that black lever pulled up and essentially wind down the jockey wheel onto the tow ball itself. It will then snap down that black lever, push up that red button and expose a green ring. That way you know you are then on and connected. You have the breakaway cable just here. Now if you have an eye point, it has to be used. If not, wrap it around the tow ball. You've got your handbrake just here, which just pushes down and up. They are a little bit stiff, so you do require a bit of force. Then you have 13-pin electric. So if you have 7-pin adaptation currently fitted, make sure to bring yourself an adapter prior to collection. You may lose a couple of features such as Elco ATC and the cooling of the fridge whilst travelling. Then 2 points either side, 2 points at the back, you have inserts for your legs. The caravan itself comes with a leg winder, or you can get yourself a 19mm drill bit and a power drill just to make it that bit quicker. Do not attempt to jack up or level the caravan using your legs. They're simply used for stabilisation. First level using your jockey wheel, then put down all 4 corner steadies. Now we're using our test equipment today here, so I have a red propane gas bottle. I'd always recommend propane over butane as it has a lower freezing temperature, so better performer during the winter. You have your in-date hose just here. Black hoses run for 5 years and that connects onto this regulator here. Hand tighten that as much as you can and then just nip it up using a spanner. Just make it nice and tight. Now on the actual hose themselves, they have a washer or O-ring, whatever you want to call it, and you have to make sure that you're not putting too much pressure on that, as it can cause it to crack, break, leading to a gas leak essentially. Once both sides are firmly connected, twist the gas bottle in the positive or open direction. Moving along, just here we have your flue. Your flue is used to get clean air in and out of your caravan. Don't have to do anything for this except make sure it's nice, clean and tidy. That is only really active when you're using gas for the boiler. Next up you have your Acrol. Now this Acrol is full of clean drinking water, and then you have your plug-in just here for your water pump. So remove that for just a second. So as you can see at the top you have where you'll push in, so you just push in and then to remove it you press in on the trigger. Whoops. Then just here you have this plastic cap even, to go over the top of the Acrol to make sure no nastiness gets in. Then at the bottom you have your strainer. The strainer has to sit at the bottom of the barrel to ensure that it is reaching the maximum potential of water. That and the fact that if there's any coughs or splutters, you can put it down to this being not set at the bottom. Now as you can see, it does have a bit of a tendency to curl up, so my recommendation is getting some PVC tubing or something like that. Some people use old hose pipe, just so it's always straight and you're not having to come out and fiddle. Then plugging it in, just press in just like so. Next up we've got your battery locker. This example doesn't have a battery fitted, however if you were needed to fit it you'd either need a 12 or 13mm spanner, and then you can operate your 12-volt light and also your motor mover. Then just next to it you have your plug-in for your mains lead. Mains lead plugs in nice and easy, and you have a little bit of a cutout for it to be locked up when operating. This example does also have a motor mover fitted, which I will run over on collection. Then just behind the axle you have your 2 points where both your wastewater from both your showers and your sinks will come from. You'll need some 28.5mm waste pipe that you can then feed into a waste master. Then lastly we have your toilet function. So first up, down below you have your cassette toilet. If I can grab the correct keys, that would also be useful. There we go. Right, so to remove your cassette toilet, press up on the orange handle and pull towards you. Now this handle as well does extend up and out, so it can be used similar to like a carry-on suitcase, I guess. Twist that orange head to the side, open up that cap. Then what you want to do is tilt, and at the same time as tilting, continually pressing that vent button. You can also open up this compartment. This is only a recommendation, and feed in some fresh water. Give it a bit of a shake, and again tilt the vent just so it makes it smell a bit nicer. And on this cap you have measurements in both imperial and metric. That's for your blue chemical. Blue chemical goes back onto there. Twist the head to the side, push it in so that orange handle sits behind those white teeth. Then just up above you have your compartment for your flush tank. So get yourself something like a watering can, something similar to that, to feed in the water in through there. This can hold 12 litres of water, however I wouldn't recommend putting in any more than 10 as you don't want to overfill it. And you can also add a little bit of what's called pink chemical, which works as a bleach without being corrosive and ultimately makes the van toilet smell a bit nicer. Now you don't want to travel with either of these two full, so just up here you have this little black lead. Open that up and that will drain off any remaining water inside that system. The caravan itself will be fully drained off before you leave with it, and that's the exterior. Then underneath your right hand side seat you have all of this, so I wouldn't recommend storing anything under here. Main thing to note, you've got your boiler just here. Now you can also pull back that panel to be able to access a recess if you need. Other thing to note, you have two yellow switch valves. Now those are your drain valves. So as they're in the horizontal position right now, that is allowing the water to flow through. When you flick it up to the vertical position, that will drain off any remaining water inside the system. The caravan itself will leave with both of them up in the vertical position. This box just here is essentially your main mobile alarm system box that can be sensed if you have the alarm triggered. That blue box is your brain box for your power touch motor mover, and that grey box just here have all your trips and fuses, all your trips in the upright position and all your fuses in the correct position there as well. If you do need a bit more information with regard to that, please have a look inside your book packs for what each fuse represents. Just here we have your main control panel. So you have your master on and off switch just here. You have the internals for your lights, so when I press that on and off, and then you just use your respective switches. You have your awning light, so go outside and just check on that. You can see awning light on just there. And then you have your volts just here, which tells you the amount of power that's coming into the van. So right now it's around about 13. When you just have your battery on, essentially that will tell you the amount of power coming from your battery, but when you're plugged into mains, that will tell you the amount coming from mains. Then you have your pump button just here, so press that in. As you can see, little red light comes on there, and what that does, it will essentially pull through the water from outside using your pump into the boiler itself. Then what you want to do is come over to your taps, open up your sink on both hot and cold, and let it run for about 30 seconds. But as we've just plugged it in, what we'll do is wait 2 to 3 minutes to allow the flow of water to come through. Whilst we're waiting for that, I will show you your Alder Wet central heating. So turn that on using your power button just here, flash up with all this screen, and then you will come to this screen, which is essentially your main control screen. So first up, you have the internal temperature of the caravan that you desire. So right now it's set to 28. It goes down and up in 0.5. Whatever you set it to, it will get to that temperature. It will take around about an hour. Now with that as well, I believe, it's back just here. So inside this wardrobe, you have your Alder tank just here. So as you can see, it has a specific Alder coolant inside there, and as it's on, it begins to bubble and it will get a little bit hot. So with that, don't touch any of that whilst it's on and operating. when you have it serviced each year, they will check the level for that as well. So going back to this, next up you have the water temperature from the shower icon. So you can either have it off as it is now, midway, which will get the water temperature to around about 40 to 60 degrees, or you can have it on full capacity. Now what full does, it prioritizes the water heat over the heating of the actual caravan itself for around about an hour. That is to prioritize and make sure the water gets nice and hot, so we'll get around 60 degrees or so, and then essentially after that hour it will drop back down to that level. Okay, next you have your sources, so you can either have electric with 1, 2 or 3 kilowatts. Now do be aware that some sites do not have capacity for 3 kilowatts, or you can run strictly gas by pressing in there, or gas with 1, 2 or 3. Then you've got some additional settings just here. Not going to run through these as we've set it to what we believe is the most user friendly to use. However, if you'd like some more information, please go to your book pack. Then turn this off. If you don't want to use it, press in that button there. Naturally, that screen will turn itself off when it hasn't been interacted with in a little bit of time, so it doesn't disturb you whilst you sleep. So coming back to this, it's been about 2 to 3 minutes. Open up on both hot and cold, and essentially what you're looking for is this nice steady continuous stream. If there's any coughs or splutters, go outside, check that the strainer is set at the bottom of the barrel, and ensure that as well you have your switch valves in the correct position, and it is downloading there as well. So that's on hot. As you can see, when I have it on cold, because I don't have the Alder set, it's a little bit more powerful. So let that run for about 30 seconds and just test whatever taps you need to use. As you can see just there. So we'll let that drip out for now. As you can hear as well, a slight bit of noise when it's drawing it through, and then stops when the tank is full. Then just here we have your hob grill and oven. So all of this operates off gas minus the electric plate. Electric plate, spin that over to whatever gas mark you want, and it will get to temperature. Everything else you have to press in on the dial, twist it to the side, and then press in the igniter. Now it may be a case that when you do first initially have it plugged in and you switch on the flame, that the flame gradually fades off. Just reignite it at that point. That's just the gas pushing any air out of the system itself. So this is what it looks like when they're all lit. As you can see, all your flames nice and lit. Turn that off, back to the central position. Again for the grill, there you can see the grill nice and working. And then lastly we have your oven. So let's see if I can just do this with one hand. So turn that over, press that in, and there you can see, a little bit awkward, oven nice and lit there as well. Only other real thing to note, make sure you travel with this glass sheet down, but don't put it down until all of these burners are cold to the touch, and make sure that you travel with your gas off. And just here we have your fridge operation. So to turn on your fridge, press and hold on this button here. It will flash up and go to its most recent memory, which in this case was mains on full capacity. So you can change the source by pressing in this grey button, and it will begin to flash up. Now that allows me to circle through. So I've got mains, I've got the battery symbol. Now that represents when I'm plugged in with 13-pin electric, as it's not the leisure battery. I've got gas or mains. So let's say I want to run gas. So to select it, press in on the grey button, and then I have the amount of power coming into the fridge. So 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5. 5 being the most powerful, so it's going to chill the fridge the quickest. Okay, to select, press in. So for gas, what you'll hear, it will gradually begin to tick in. Then once it's finished ticking on gas, that means it is then lit. Now, with regards to this, I wouldn't recommend putting it on gas until you've actually checked over all of your hob grill and oven. Okay, so as you can see there as well, once I've selected it, there's no more LEDs that are vibrant there. However, there's a little green light to show you that it's still on. Then I can have a quick reminder of what I've had it set on by either pressing in there or pressing in on the power button. Then to turn this off, press and hold on this button here, flash off, no more green light. Then lastly we have your bog, which you can describe as bog simple. Right, lift that up, press this button in, and then you can hear that motor. That motor is what will push around any water inside the flush tank system into your container. Then press away on that handle, opens up your catch, pull it back towards you and shuts up the catch just like so. Then when the cassette toilet is full, red light come on to tell you to go and empty.